Saar Zutshi, 22, American-born, but son of Indian parents, visiting India for the first time.
It smells pretty good, pretty fruity.
He'll have the chance to explore India's rich culture and will set out on a journey to grow closer to his own roots.
You know, being raised in the U.S. In a very much more secular society as opposed to India, which is strongly Hindu, I think a lot of that is contributing to the fact that I'm not a super religious person, even though I was raised Hindu and I still identify as Hindu.
Part of India's religious diversity lies within Hinduism alone, with denominations such as the ISKCON faith, or the Hare Krishnas, whose temples are known for being lively and animated.
It was just kind of interesting to see the contrast and, you know, some of the similarities and slight differences between traditional Hinduism and, you know, religion as we saw at ISKCON.
But outside of its largest religious group, India is home to people of many other faiths as well.
I would say pretty much all the religions that are out there in the world, I would say majority of them in terms of size and population, exist both in India as well as in the US. For example, Hinduism exists in both countries, Islam exists in both countries. Percentages are naturally different based on the demographics of those specific countries.
History of the Qutub Minar, go.
The old city of Lal Kot used to be one of Delhi's most significant cities. During Muslim rule, it became less prominent, but then it ended up rising to prominence again. So,
the 240-foot-tall minaret was built as a victory tower for the Muslims who successfully invaded India in the late 12th century, kicking off a reign of 5 consecutive dynasties. India is now home to over 200 million Muslims, nearly 11% of the world's Muslim population. And although many other minority religions have emerged throughout the country, Muslims are still responsible for perhaps the most famous site in India.
Would you say that this is the most culturally significant place you've tied your shoe?
sure, yes. I don't know. I don't calculate the cultural significance of a place where I like feet.
The Taj Mahal was built over the course of 16 years to honor Mumtaz Mahal, the Muslim wife of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, whose 30-year reign is known as the Golden Era of Mughal architecture.
This will be the closest we get of you, Shay.
That's unfortunate.
The marble mausoleum is a reflection of how Mughal emperors often express themselves through religion.
I think if you look at United States, I feel that there is less reliance on a day-to-day basis of people on their respective faith. There is not that much involvement, what you see in countries like India, or for that matter, anywhere in the Muslim world.
We're at the same spot, coming back, but now you can't see anything because of the fog.
I cannot see the Taj Mahal from here. I mean, even someone about 200 meters from here, you can't see.
So while most of India today is still Hindu, Shay discovered that multiple religious groups are truly responsible for shaping the country's history and culture.
The special thing about the food in India is that depending on where you are, you'll get something different. I think most people have an idea of what Indian food is based on, maybe like 1 or 2 restaurants they've been to here. But when you go there, you realize depending on what part of the country you're in, you're gonna get something different.
These differences are especially evident when looking at North versus South Indian cuisine.
South Indian food. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited.
South Indian food is a lot different than North Indian food. You'll get a lot more vegetarian options. Some of the more popular examples would be like dosas, super thin, flaky, made out of batter. You have idli.
कैसा है?
बहुत अच्छा है.
Many South Indian foods can be enjoyed with different types of chutneys, including tomato and coconut.
Inject the coconut chutney into my veins.
Anyway. Despite all the unique flavors from the South, Shay still found comfort in the North Indian food.
I like the pav bhaji. I thought that was really good.
Pav bhaji, typical Bombay street food, made up of mashed vegetables eaten with a special kind of Indian bread. And this soft bread roll is also used in another local favorite.
I think I lived on vada pav, a very popular type of food that invariably most local people in Mumbai would have.
Along with other specialties including bhel puri, sev puri, and
Pani puri.
pani puri. Unless you're in Delhi.
So actually in Delhi, when I saw Golgappa on the menu and Manamasi kept talking about it, I actually wasn't sure what she was talking about. And then they come and serve it and it's just pani puri. And I'm like, okay, why didn't you just say that?
And this wasn't the only food-related surprise Shay would experience.
Jalebi and gulab jamun, I had thought that they were supposed to be served cold, but both of them are actually served hot. That was something that I didn't know because especially jalebi is always served cold in the US.
But despite the confusion, Shay still enjoyed the many flavors of India.
I liked pretty much all the foods that I ate. There were some that were better than others, but yeah, there wasn't any food that I had and was thinking, okay, I'm definitely not going to eat this again.
What are you eating?
Namkeen.
A lot more people, even on a random Tuesday, Wednesday night on the beach, there were just tons of people.
With over 25 million people, the Mumbai metro area is not only one of the most populated, but also one of the most dense in the entire world. Loads of food and activities have made the beaches some of the best places to visit for both tourists and locals.
नमस्कार, आप 86 किलो हैं, 86 किलो हैं, 86 किलो हैं। आप तंदुरुस्त व्यक्ति हैं, आपका दिमाग तेज है। नमस्कार।
And whether you're on the beach or elsewhere, it's easy to enjoy another of India's favorite pastimes.
Here, when you go shopping, it feels a lot more official. Obviously, you walk into a store, you grab things, you go to the checkout. In India, it's a little more casual, where you kind of just go, you grab stuff, you're kind of walking alongside cars and sometimes animals and stuff, and you grab things, put it in a bag, and go.
Barter for something, Shay.
I'll do my best.
I thought the street markets were really cool, actually. I thought it was cool how they were, flexible on price. The haggling element was pretty present.
Bargaining किया, 3 पैंट खरीदा,
Bargaining तो unsuccessful था.
लेकिन फिर भी खरीदा.
I feel like I'm not a great negotiator, but I felt it was a good experience to see something and then see if I could haggle it down.
Along with the local markets, Shay also got a taste of local transportation.
First auto trip, how was it?
It was really fun, actually. It was a pretty smooth ride. I thought the price point was really reasonable, actually. Pretty affordable.
And quick, due to their small size, which allows them to weave in and out of traffic. Shay's trip also included visits to the former schools of his mom. and dad, where Ajoy finished at the top of his class in 1979. But you may notice an issue here with his name.
When I started school, my name was recorded as Ajay, which is more commonly used in Maharashtra and Mumbai. My real name is Ajoy, which I changed formally in paperwork after grade 10.
After attending a wedding and spending New Year's on the beach, Shay's trip came to an end. A trip that taught him not only about his family's home country, but also about himself.
I didn't think there was a huge language barrier. I could definitely understand most of what was being said, especially in daily conversations. For me, that's easy, growing up having heard Hindi. I couldn't always speak as well as I wanted, but could definitely get by, so there were those challenges. I think the biggest language barrier could come with regional languages. Marathi was something I didn't understand, so if it was a case where someone didn't speak Hindi or English and they only knew Marathi, I couldn't have communicated with them.
And along with language, Shay also noticed some differences in how people perceived him.
So a lot of them, especially in Mumbai, I feel, would speak to me in Hindi. So they know that I'm Indian, but they don't know where I'm actually from. Whereas in the US, people have no idea. They'll think, Arab, they'll think Hispanic sometimes. Native American's a common one, but in India, they were right able to pick me out.
And with all this taken into account, Shay got a chance to reflect on whether he really felt more connected to his roots.
A little bit more, since I actually know what the cities and the food and the people look like. I can actually put a concrete visual in my head about what India is, what people, culture, society, what those things are like. But yeah, definitely feel a little bit more connected on the cultural fronts.
Would you say you experienced any culture shock?
To be honest, no. I think growing up in Northern California, there's so much diversity here that you're around, a lot of other Indian people.
I was pretty, well prepared from my parents, always as a kid, telling me, this is how it's going to be.
I think probably most people who haven't been there before don't realize how diverse of a country it is. Depending on what part of the country you're in, you're going to meet people who speak different languages, believe in different religions. The food is different depending on where you go. You probably won't find like such a diverse demographic anywhere else in the world.
Every culture has its positives and every culture has its negatives. The important part is our goal as individuals should be to maximize our potential in whichever environment we are in, and not spend time looking at the negative elements in life, but looking at more positive elements in life. And that means take what you have and maximize your future potential.
That is really good.